All right, my friends, this week on Prof and Dev Play Games, we are spoiling the shit out of Clair Obscur Expedition 33, and I am cracking another pack of magic cards. Stay tuned. All right, my friends, welcome to episode 485 of Prof and Dev Play Games. My name is Larry, the professor, at Prof Plays Games on Blue Sky. Over there is Anthony, the dev. He is at Summer Speak on Blue Sky. How are things going?
Going well. I had a nice 4-day vacation. So,
Awesome.
That's relaxing. Yeah, it's been pretty good.
Good.
Get to stay on my small little island and avoid everything. Although
That
there's a lot of tourists
blissful
on the island right now.
Can't avoid
them. A lot
them.
of people came over for the fourth weekend.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so busy. But I can stay at my house.
Home. Yeah, stay home and avoid them.
Exactly.
Yep, totally.
But
That's
yeah, I
awesome.
had a fine time. Went out to our normal traditional, view the small island fireworks show. It's very calm compared to pretty much anywhere else I've ever gone and watched fireworks. So,
That's awesome.
That's why we do it. I don't think we would deal with anything too insane.
Yeah, we are crowd avoiders for the most part, so we stayed home and it was all good. Tonight I did not stay home. I went to a Final Fantasy Magic draft, sealed draft, I guess. And it was a lot of fun. I went with my neighbor, and my neighbor got paired with me the first round and beat the shit out of me. Second round, I won at a very last second. I got my creature to go through and apply 6 damage, which brought my opponent down to 2, and I had saved 3 mana to pull out an instant to add +2/+0 to my creature. So it took him down to 0, and then I won the whole match. It was great. He was not happy, but I was pretty happy. And then I won a pack. So I am going to crack it, because that's always fun. I've got a frog token for Queena, who I finally know who that is, and a hero token. All right, we've got Cloudbound Moogle, which is great. Right. Every time I brought out that tonight, got taken away. People don't like flyers during draft.
No, they don't.
Suplex. My opponent kept using that tonight, and it just destroyed my Death Touch flyers, which made me sad. I have the Namazu Trader, Fish Citizen, Air. Oh shit! I got Airship Crash.
Okay.
I've got Retrieve the Esper. I've got Vane's Treachery, which fucked me.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it fucked me tonight big time. I've got a second copy of Memories of Nibelheim, Stroke of Midnight.
Oh, nice. Stroke of Midnight.
Tifa on top of the water tower.
Yeah.
Awesome. Destroy target non-land permanent.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Very good. I love that art. Oh, Tifa. Summon Shiva. Ooh, I got another Saz's Chocobo.
It's a good uncommon. Bird deck. Do the bird deck.
Hell yeah, man. I love it. I've got, for the first time, I don't think I have this card yet. This is Summon Primal Garuda.
Oh, nice. Yep.
Yeah, that's very cool. Another triple triad. And then
less nice.
Oh, Anthony. Fuck yes. It's not the Buster Sword, by the way.
Okay.
But fuck yes, it's a rare card that I don't have yet. I'll tell you what it is in a second. The foil here is Summon Fat Chocobo.
Okay.
Which
that's fun.
Also fucked me tonight when it gave my opponent's creatures trample.
Yep.
I've got Vector Imperial Capital as my land.
Okay.
And then I have Jill, Shiva's Dominant.
Nice.
I'm so happy. I did not have this card, and now I do.
Awesome.
So my
that's a decent
neighbor,
pack. Was that
that's
two?
Very good.
2 rares?
Was there 2 rares? There was 2 rares. Yeah, triple triad.
Triple triad's a rare.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good pack.
That's a great pack. I'm gonna take pictures and send to my neighbor, who was the person driving tonight. So he wanted to see my pack. So there you go. I won that. You win if you win a pack if you win a round, and I won a round. So now I got.
That's great.
2. Very
Hi.
cool.
I'm a little envious. You have a place easy enough to go draft.
It's great.
My local store does draft. I can't do it on the night that they do drafts. So.
Oh no, that sucks.
And I mean, it's not on the island, so it's a little bit more of cumbersome for me to get over there. But if it was on a better night, I totally would do it. But alas, it's not in the cards for me.
Yeah, there's something about draft that's just so fun. The people have been the same people for the most part, so getting to know them is cool too. And getting invited to people's houses to play, I'm like, cool, that sounds fun. Maybe one day.
One day. I'm not sure if I'm there yet.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, playing at my neighbor's house is good enough.
Yeah.
But tonight we are not talking about Magic Forever. We're going to talk about Clair Obscur Expedition 33. Anthony rolled credits.
I did.
And I rolled credits about a week ago or so. Why don't we start, unless you have another idea, start with just your general thoughts of the whole game. And then we can get into the specifics of the spoilers.
Yeah, whole game. I think it's a very good game. I understand now why people really like it, because I think the ending is really strong. Really strong. Which is good. I mean, a lot of media fails at their endings, and that contain it. And this goes the other way of being like, I think it strengthens what came before, and it makes it easier for me to even like gloss over a bit some of the parts I didn't like in the game, which really was only a few hours total in the game. That was just a little bit shaky pacing wise to me, but like the ending was not. Like Act 3, even though I did a bunch of extra stuff in Act 3, but I was really enjoying doing it, which is different than what had come the hours before.
Yep, exactly.
But I think it's a really strong game. It's not going down in like the best games I've ever played category. To me, I think it ends to me at like an 8 out of 10. Really good. I'm very happy I played it. I enjoyed my time with it. Overall, I think the story will stick with me a bit, and the characters definitely will stick with me. They were very well written characters, very engaging. Combat, I got a lot better at it as time went on. Really, it's just certain enemies that just suck, and I hate them. And I'm just bad at them. And other enemies, I'm fine. Like I was able to get the dodging and parrying down good enough to get through it. But generally, it's fine. That's, I think, one of the things with the Act 3. It got to the place I wanted it to be, which was boss fights is where I needed to really pay attention and do stuff. Trash fights, I was just murdering.
Yeah.
Like, if they lived after my first round of attacks, it was shocking. Like, and actually that felt a lot to me how Persona kind of feels towards both Persona 5 Royal and Reload, the newer Personas, where even if you're going up against a trash fight, if you play properly and sequence your attacks right, you're not going to go another round. And it just feels good. You solve a puzzle and you're done and you're out. And that flow felt a lot better to me once I was in that spot, more than whenever it was like, man, these trash mobs, I'm like spending like multiple rounds fighting the trash. Really bogged down my play. But yeah, overall, super happy to play it. The music continued to be amazing. Act 3 music was
God,
banger as hell.
It was the best part of the whole soundtrack, I thought.
Yeah, it was so good.
Of a great soundtrack.
Yeah. But yeah, that's like the high level opinions of this game.
Yeah, let me dig into mine, and then we'll get into the spoilers for the end. I'm really closely aligned with you. Overall, I think I have a hard time not pushing up towards a 9 because of how the ending landed for me. I was at an 8 for a lot of it. In fact, some of it, like Act 2, some of it was down to a 7. I thought the prologue was great. It had a really snappy ending. I thought the Act 1 really was well paced as well, getting to know the characters, and then spoilers for Act 1, culminating with Gustav eating it basically, was just really well done. I thought that the level design and the places you were exploring was cool. The overworld was neat. Around corners you found secrets, or you found huge ass bosses that would stomp you. Act 2 just drug for me.
Yep.
I really feel like the story was overtold. I feel like there was way too much repetition. I felt like there was just way too much. And it feels out of proportion with the other acts, where Act 1 felt tight. Act 3 felt incredibly tight. Act 2 was just loosey-goosey in a way that really pulled it down for me. If 2 was packaged better, if 2 was something like a 3 or a little bit more than a 3, I mean, this would be a 10 out of 10 for me. I felt like the combat was really interesting. I played on story mode the whole time, and it felt like the right place for me because I still couldn't do it at 100%, but it felt I could do it 70% of the time. By the end, I was doing, tens of thousands of damage. I got to like 100,000 at one point. You eclipsed my damage, obviously, but it was cool to work out the pictos, and I kept roulette on everybody, so it was either like a double or 50% at all times, and it just was kind of fun, the chance element there. I didn't really find an incentive to use other characters. Like I never used CL unless I had to, and I would bring in Monoko every once in a while just because I thought taking the monster's foot thing was cool.
I should say that I didn't. My party was Verso, Lune, Mael. I used CL for a little bit after she joined the party. I just didn't like her mechanics that much.
Me too.
I found them really complicated. I was like, what am I supposed to be doing with foretelling and light and dark and like? I'm like, this is more complicated than I want to deal with. So no, I didn't go out of the way that much. I played a little bit with Monoko. If I wanted to grind more, I probably would have played more with Monoko just to like collect all the feet.
Exactly.
To get all the different powers.
It's amazing.
Really, that core trio that I have, they just do really well together. So
yeah, I stuck with them the whole time, except when I'd filter in a Monoko every once in a while. And playing through Final Fantasy 9 now and meeting Quina, where she then eats things to get their power, I'm like, holy shit, it's the same thing. This is cool.
It's
a blue mage.
It's a blue mage. Yeah. Blue mage. Final Fantasy 5. I think I said this last time. I looked it up. Final Fantasy 5 was the first blue mage in the series. Very cool.
Well, in the RPG backlog podcast, we're going to start 4 in about a month, and after that will be 5. So that'd be cool to check out. But then rolling into 3, as we get into the spoilers, I'll talk more about it. But I've never had an ending of a game do what this one did to me. So that makes it, brings it up to a 9 for me. And, I was going between 8.5 or a 9 because 2 really fucking sucked. Like it was really bad.
I went with 8 because I don't do halves.
Yeah. Well, I'm going with a 9 because I'm not doing halves either. Yeah.
So that I just went down. I floor my floats to ants.
Yep. But overall, I'm really glad I played it. This is certainly a game that will be in my top 5 of the year. Blueprints is still with a bullet my number 1 so far, but Donkey Kong Bonanza, which comes out next week, looks like my goatee. Especially now they said that it's the Odyssey team. So I have some high expectations.
I think one of the other main games for this year that I'm really looking forward to is Ghost of Yote.
Oh God, I forgot.
Like that could hit really, really well. Just knowing that Sucker Punch has had years to just refine the Ghost of Tsushima, which was already a really good game. I have high hopes that they've refined it into something even better at this point. And if they have, I'm like, that's probably going to be up there in my top 5 because holy shit.
I feel like this year was so front loaded that I've kind of forgotten some of the things that were coming out at the end. But for me, Final Fantasy Tactics. I mean, I know it's a game that released before, but I'd never played it, so it'll be new to me. I feel like that's going to be high on my list. And by the way, I don't know. I went to draft that in our league, and it said I couldn't draft it. And now all of a sudden you have it. I'm like, what the fuck happened here?
I also tried to draft it originally, and it said I couldn't. And then I went back this week, and I was looking at like, hey, should I make a bid on anything? Like I was looking at like what's new and excited, and it was there again, and it said a status available and the whole thing. I was like, are you sure? I thought I couldn't get it.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And then it let it go through. So yes, I have it now.
Damn.
I wonder if they determined if it was
more than a. They tagged it a remaster. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Because it was not tagged as that before.
Yeah. Again, I mean, it's the same thing that they did. They had the little flag on Elder Scrolls.
Yep.
They had their debate.
Right.
Although we're not, I don't know.
Because it was, because it was a partial remake.
Yeah. That's right. It was partial, and then they were like, partial. No.
Which I think is right. It should be a remake. Yeah. But god damn it, that fucked me over. I tried bidding on that.
I was like, yes.
Oh god,
I did too. But it was there, and I was like, I hope he doesn't see that it's there now.
I did not see it was there. Once I saw it was not available, I was like, oh, okay, it's not available. Silly boy.
But you have Donkey Kong coming.
I know. I'm very excited about that.
But anyway. Clair Obscur. So
let's get into spoilers for end of Act 2, Act 3. This is full spoilers. If you haven't played the game, then this is your time to nope out. If you like us, please rate us on your podcast service of choice. And here we go. So what do you think?
So Act 2. It's just too long, really, and the dungeons themselves were kind of long. The monolith. I mean, here's my problem with the monolith: is it should have been a lot cooler than it was.
Yeah.
Like, it was just literally going back through the previous biomes.
Yep.
You had gone through over and, like, just not huge, but enough where I'm like, this, I get it's a way to cut costs as devs, and it's great, and they probably need to do that to keep the budget in line, but it didn't really feel that epic to go through the monolith that you'd been building up to be this epic thing. It just kind of was a slog, and I was like, well, that's disappointing. This is not a fun dungeon. And I was expecting something grander. Similarly with the axons as well, those were kind of annoying. It was like a lot of level design at the end of Act 2 was just mostly where a lot of what I felt was the reason the pacing was kind of screwed up. I feel like they could have just if they were just like, no, let's just shorten these up. Like, if the axon fights were a lot less in some ways, like less time to get to the axon, like, would have probably been better, and just really focused on that boss more than the running through these big places, fighting different things.
That's interesting because the axons are the piece of Act 2 that was memorable for me. I was really glad there were only 2.
Yeah.
And they were definitely a little too long, especially the second one, not the faces, but the Serene. Thank you.
Yeah.
But I did like that if you spent, well, at least the first one, the Visages, you could have gone straight to the boss.
Oh yeah.
But instead I chose to go down each path to weaken the boss.
Yeah.
Which I really liked.
I will say the first one was better than Serene. By far.
Exactly. The first dungeon was better. The first fight was better. I thought it was well paced. The second one, it was just so fucking long, that dungeon, and it wasn't like anything super. I don't know. Felt around every turn was like more of the same, not something different, not something unique or interesting. And really, like, you do that. You go through this whole thing to find, I forget the spinster, whatever the name of that boss was, where it's like. You walk up and it says, it just doesn't seem to be hostile. Do you really want to attack? I was like, yeah, probably, because I'm probably going to get something. And you do. You get an anti-charm. So you need the anti-charm. Otherwise, that Serene fight is way harder. So I can see the point. But that one was like, that was the only point. The rest of it was not. Yeah. Didn't need to be that long.
Yeah, and that was really my only general complaints there. That got a little bit more of the like RPG tropey thing of, hey, we're trying to do the thing, can't do that thing because we have to do these other things. Do the checklist first, then do the thing. Break the barrier, go to the monolith. And it's not like necessarily that's bad. That's just the trope of RPGs, but sometimes it's just noticeable. I'm like, okay, yep, I know where this is going. Witcher 3 did the same thing sometimes, where I'm like, for fuck's sake.
Yep. Well, and Witcher
can't be straightforward, can we? No, we have to add an extra chunk of hours. before I can do the thing that I want to do.
And we can't let you just defeat the boss and then the boss is over. No, you have to face the same boss. You have to face Renoir. Fuck, how many times in this game?
I know.
5?
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, you get to the end, you do that, you fight the paintress at the top of the monolith, and you get the big reveals. Actually, and that's the thing with the reveals of Act 2 to 3. Because you asked me, like, I figured this wasn't something was going on with this world, that it wasn't real.
No, okay.
Like, I had figured, I'm like, there's going to be some twist that this isn't actual reality. Something's going on. The twist I absolutely did not call was that Verso was dead in the real world, and this was just a figment of Verso. Like, exactly. that those details completely caught me off guard. And that there's this whole other story going on in the real world, quotes, that there's painters versus writers.
Exactly.
But I'm like, I want that lore. What's going on?
I want that in a sequel. I want that in an extended universe. Like, that's like, really freaking cool. What the hell
is going on in early, like, what was the time frame? It was like late 1800 Verso's.
Yeah, something like that.
It was like 1800s to early 1900s when this was going on. If that's our reality, or roughly in Paris. But I'm like, what is this? Clearly there's like magical painters, and that must mean there's magical writers.
Exactly.
Like, what
does that mean?
What is this? What is this world? And please tell me more about that world.
Yes. Isn't that great when you can leave a game and you're like, I want more lore out of this? Like, yes, it's right for, like, I want more. It's amazing, because sometimes I leave a game like Blueprints. I love Blueprints. I didn't leave Blueprints thinking I want to know more about the world and the lore. I don't want that. And there's more for people who do. There's more in that game. My Barbara is continuing. She's opened like 3 Sanctum keys so far, and probably on number 4 at this point. Such an amazing game. But the thing that's interesting about Verso being dead, and this was Verso's painting, so his spirit's in this painting. And when you get to the end, you realize that the faceless boy that's been talking to you throughout is Verso. And Verso's in there painting, and Verso gets pulled through. But not just that Verso is a figment. Like, none of the people in there except for Mael are real. Everyone was painted by him, and then they've had kids and kids and kids. Like, Lune's not real, Ciel's not real. They're real in that world. They're like tangible in that world, but they're not
Verso real people.
And Mael, they're not real people. Versus Verso and Mael. And the whole time I knew early on that there was a choice you make at the end. And eventually I found out that it was you're choosing either Verso or Mael. So I knew that probably mid Act 2 going forward. I think I'd seen it spoiled. I didn't know what the choice was, but I was like, I'm choosing Mael. Like, I'm on Mael's side. I'm choosing Mael, and I'm going through, getting ready for the choice. Verso comes through, and then, you realize as the final fight with Renoir is happening, Renoir is like, this is going to kill you, Mael. You cannot stay in here. You have to leave the painting. You will die in the real world. You cannot stay here. And the whole fight, that whole thing, Verso is silent. And I was like, what the fuck is happening? Why isn't he? And then as the fight's over, you realize Verso is like, oh shit, Renoir is right. Yeah. So then Verso comes through the painting, sees little Verso painting, is like, we got to end this. And then Mael's there. And I'm like, okay, I got to choose. I'm going to choose Mael's side. Because I'm going for Mael. Oh no, it's exactly the opposite of what I thought I would choose. I have to choose Verso to save Mael. So I've got to choose Verso, and now I'm fighting I'm fighting Mael, and that's the final fight in this game. I was fucking bawling the whole time, the whole fight. It really threw me for a loop, and it was amazing. I loved it.
Yeah, that end was. I also chose Verso. Like, I'm curious what the Mael ending is. I assume it stays open, and I'm almost like, the whole game at the end there now, and honestly from the start, it's all about grief. Like, people have said that. Yeah. And I see it now, and it's just that it is a family grieving that their son died.
Exactly.
And their daughter was very much harmed by it for the rest of her life, and now has to live with the physical scars of it.
Yep.
But none of the family grieved Verso's death. And this is how they're trying to extend that time, but none of them are actually processing the death and the necessity of moving on. And that's why I did eventually choose Verso for that reason of being like, no, it's painful. Grief is painful, but you have to move through it. You can't just sit in it. Even if you're trying to hide it with happy things, that you're not solving it, you're not moving, you're not processing it. And you see that with the paintress being the mom, who can't let go. Renoir as the dad, just being like, I just want my family safe and not dying.
And not subsumed by this painting, subsumed by his death, and lingering.
He wants to move on. He wants to grieve and move on, but the rest of the family won't. Clair is this other character. I'm like, I want more story of her, which I can get to because I played a lot of side stuff in Act 3. I just say for you, like, my highest damage was like 1.7 million. I have a friend here who I was talking to. He did his highest single attack damage was 21 million.
Good Lord.
And he's like, that didn't kill a boss, one of the final optional bosses. Like, that was like a quarter of its health.
God.
So there's like insane bosses. I did not fight those, but I did fight a thing called, it was like the Flying Manor. And I went in there and there's 4 bosses you had to fight. I went to it because I looked up, I'm like, I want to max out my weapons. And you can get them to 32 with like a high-end crafting thing. And then you need 1 item to get them from 32 to 33 max level. And it doubles their power when you do this. They're so strong.
Wow.
But there's only like 5 places to get this item. You can only get I think you get enough to max 1 weapon for each character.
Right.
And I was like, well, I'm going to max my main party's 3 weapons. And I went to the Flying Manor and I did the 4 bosses there.
Isn't Clair in there?
She is. I tried fighting her one time and was noped out of that one. I was like,
oh shit.
It's a fucking hard fight. Even
Crazy.
when I have max level weapons.
Wow.
I was level 86 when I beat the game.
Holy shit.
So I should actually say that Act 3, amazing. I was one-shotting everything in Act 3 in that dungeon. Like, literally, Mael would get her attack. I used one of her abilities that hit, I think it was like Phantom Strikes. It hit all enemies, and they all would die.
Oh my God.
In that, and then the Renoir fight at the end, single attack. I killed him in 1 attack each time.
Oh my God. That almost feels like unsatisfying.
It was just like, holy shit.
So did you defeat Mael in 1 hit then?
Yes. Verso did 1 attack and just went, wow.
Oh no, that would have ruined it for me. Oh, like it was every single attack was just like gut wrenching, and then every single attack there's dialogue between them.
Well, I didn't get to see it.
Oh no, that would have hurt. Okay, that kind of sucks.
I just, and I didn't even use like one of what ability? It's called Ascending Strikes with him. It's just a single target, and the more you use it during a fight, the more damage it does. But it starts out lower damage. That's the point of it. It's like low damage, and it just builds until it's absurd. It's a great boss thing. And I was like, I'll start with that. Yeah, one-shot her.
Oh my God.
The end of the game is not balanced for the fact if you've spent time in Act 3.
Well, and they kind of encourage you to do that, so that sucks because it's not.
I
man,
was
I'm sorry.
an incredible badass through that last dungeon.
Okay.
I was like, holy shit.
The tension, the build up and the dialogue between is what really drew it out of me.
I guess I'll have to watch just so I can see the dialogue. Because there was no dialogue. It was just like, we're fighting and I do this attack. I also had that Picto on cheater.
The one cheater,
which I got off of did you ever see it was the giant Nevron that's like walking in the water?
Yeah, I fought it. I couldn't defeat it.
So I tried it once when I was in Act 2 before I had the Picto, the uncapture damage.
Yep.
And I couldn't fight the thing. I got it to maybe like a third health down a third of the health, and was like, this isn't happening. But I went back once I had maxed my weapons.
Oh, okay.
And it got to attack me once.
That's crazy.
And then I killed it, and then I had Cheater on, and then once I had Cheater on, I got 6 actions before the enemy ever got an action on anything. Like, it really does feel like you're cheating. I was like, this game gives, like, insane optimization. But yes, doing that makes the end dungeon trivial. Yeah. But I know there's other content where you have to do all this to actually beat it.
Which is like a finely tuned, not finely tuned, excuse me, but really trying to hit on all the cylinders of what a JRPG does. Like thinking about Final Fantasy, where there's a bunch of hidden shit in a lot of those Final Fantasies that you really got to be like, you know, think about 12 and those fucking hunts, even 16 with those huge hunts, you know?
Yeah.
I mean,
that's a trope. That's a thing.
Right. And I feel like they're really hitting on all those things, but, you know, it's in some way putting their own spin on it. But they're like, we love these games. We want to do what they do. And that's cool. I don't know. I like that.
They do. It just makes, like you said, makes the ending a little probably less impact for me because of how quickly I just annihilated the whole thing.
Yeah, I'm glad that I learned early on that like you'll come back to that last flag before the boss, and then you can go back and do all the side content level in Act 3. I was like, if I want to come back, I'll do that. But I want to get through the story now. I'm glad I didn't go, you know, do other stuff.
I mean,
and then
I was
be
at
so
a point.
overleveled.
I'm not going to go back and play more of it. That was me just doing. That was me doing the things that I wanted to do. And the only reason I was high level is because I just, I did the Frozen Heart dungeon.
Oh, I don't know what that is.
It's a one up in the frost area above Minoko's place, and I just did that as that seemed like a reasonable one to go through. I wanted to max all reputations. I did that for all characters.
Can I ask you about that?
Yeah.
So there was a moment where CL was like, "Hey, let's do it," and I was like, "No, thanks. I'm into Lune." And then I get through the Act 3 and I beat the game. I'm like, "Oh, I didn't advance with Lune again. I guess I must have had to camp or do more things in the world."
Yeah, you have to do it at camp. You always progress at camp. You have to go to camp and you have to say, I want to spend time with them. Yeah.
Okay. That's what I missed out on with her. I'll go back. I'm going to go back into this game and do some stuff.
And they have basically to get their, it's not their final ranks. It's like to get to past rank 5, a number of them have side quests you have to do in the world. And so I finished Act 2, got those side quests, and I did those side quests as kind of like my first steps in Act 3.
Were the side quests? They're not. How did you know what they were?
You talk to them, and then they put markers on the map to say, go here. And they tell you have to go do this. You'll try to talk to them again. They're like, hey, you need to go do this before we can talk more. Or
I never went to camp after Act 2.
Yeah, I was back in camp. A decent chunk. Talking, finished all that. So I maxed reputation. So level 7 with everybody. And some of the dungeon, the to max Mael, that was a longer one. That probably took an hour and a half, 2 hours. It's a big dungeon you have to go through. It was very cool. Ties into who Mael is, being Alicia. It's very, very cool. There's that. Minoko's was really neat. Short, but neat.
I like Minoko. That voice actor was also really cool.
Yeah. It was neat to just do that. I'm glad I did that for all the characters. Just get all their stories out. Like I know why CL hates the water overall. You saw that one. Like she explains why she hates the water and what's going on. It also explains how Eskie knows her. So.
Oh wow, that's very cool. I definitely need to do that.
All this lore. It's neat lore. It's very neat lore. Highly recommend doing that. But that's what got me like the initial levels to like 60. And then I was starting to level my weapons, and I found a place, Dart Shores, which is close to the start, actually, that is very short, and it has 3 fights, and they guarantee they'll drop 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Every time you do these 3 fights, you'll get 7 of the high-level weapon crafting material.
Oh, cool.
That will let you get your weapon up to 32, so I just had to do that a bunch of times to get my And like defeating those guys, and if I didn't get hit, I was getting good at not getting hit, would give me like 1.2 million experience. So like I went from level 60 to like 80 real fast.
Wow, that's cool.
Just farming these mats because I just wanted to, and that took an hour or something. It was really fast, and I was like, "Oh, I'm really high level at this point." But
Yeah.
but I just wanted that. I was like, I wanted to feel good about that, max those, and then just finish the game. And I don't. That's the stuff I did. The stuff that I felt like I didn't need, that I wanted to see and complete, and then finish the game. And I don't really have a desire to start or play any more of it. Even though there's a ton of side content left for me to see in Act 3. There's a tower with lots of levels. There's numerous optional boss fights, all in these floating islands everywhere. Supposedly there's a boss fight back in the monolith again, if you want to go do it. I don't know. There's a lot of content at the end there, but they clearly tuned the end of the game to be like you finish Act 2 and just go right to the final dungeon. And don't have to do any of this stuff.
There's a lot of things still to uncover in Act 3, and that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I don't know if they are working on a sequel or working on DLC or anything like that. So it's kind of cool to have gone, for me at least, to have gone through and had a very satisfying experience, and then know there's still more stuff I can uncover if I want to.
Yeah. I think they've talked about they're doing something more.
I remember them saying that they hadn't planned on it, but due to the success that they were going to think about it. I don't know if that thinking about it turned into something.
They're not doing any. Well, that was May. They said they weren't doing DLC. Yeah, I can't see anything. They tease new content.
Okay.
I don't. So who knows? Like they tweet posted on the official Clair Obscur Twitter account. Sandfall teases that is considering a number of different ideas for its JRPG love letter going forward. We're currently exploring a wide range of future improvements, from accessibility features to new content and all sorts of bits and bobs we're actively accessing. I doubt it's going to be crazy new, like more story.
Yeah, sure.
It's just going to be improvements to what's there, maybe new dungeons or items. Who knows?
Aren't they adding a minimap?
That'd be amazing. That's probably a accessibility and like quality of life feature that would be nice.
I swear to God, I saw this article last week. Oh, there it is. Clair Obscur Expedition 33 finally gets a minimap. Where I'm reading. Oh, fuck me. That's a fucking mod. Never mind.
Yeah, I knew there was a mod for it.
Yeah. Okay. It's the same thing. John Papadopoulos.
Yeah. Okay. No. But so they're gonna have updates and patches and probably add a little bit more content here and there. But my thought is, I'm like, okay, there'll probably be a sequel, and that sequel better deal with writers and painters.
Well, it better. And it was so cool getting to the end and thinking about, the expeditions, and it's Renoir trying to erase everyone, trying to erase the painting, trying to get it to go away. So Expedition 33 is like that. There are no more expeditions. It's Clair Obscur. So it's gonna be Clair Obscur writers versus painters or whatever. But it's not going to be Expedition anything. It is what my guess is.
Yeah.
So
and that's really cool. Yeah, and supposedly Clea is very involved in the war with the writers. They constantly say that she's in her own personal war and battle with the writers. So it's like something's going on there, because as a character, she is not much in the game. I was like, oh, there's another sister. Okay.
Exactly. When they showed the family out of it, I was like, what? There's a sister? Shit.
Yeah.
Okay. And there was just enough where it like really felt like she was essential to the story in some way, even though she really wasn't in it. And I was like, oh, there's more to this story. And when I heard that she was a boss fight in the game, I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Dude, it looks good. Art direction's good. Music is fucking off the charts. I don't know if there's Mario Kart World has a great soundtrack, but a lot of it's kind of remixed stuff. This is like they found this guy in fucking Bandcamp or SoundCloud. I mean,
Yeah.
dude, what a god.
Yeah, this is incredible music. Yeah, highly recommend the game. I see why everyone enjoys it. It was not made with a team of 30 people. Like, look at the credits. The credits were like 150 to 200 people worked on this game in some capacity. Sandfall is small. Sandfall's 30, but
right.
You don't make a game this big with just 30 people. You need a lot more support to make that happen. And so I'm glad I've also seen Sandfall poo-poo that entire story as well. Being like, we're not 30 people. Like 30 people. It's not just 30 of us that made this game. The voice acting is incredible. My God, Ben Starr just keeps like banger after banger.
Ben, this was, I mean, Final Fantasy 16, which I went back and doubled with again this week. Like, he is so fucking good in that. But man, this is maybe better.
Yeah.
He's the fucking main character, man. I mean, Mael is, I guess, but dude, he is not some fucking side character. God,
no,
he's the central person in this whole thing.
Yeah, it's Mael and Verso's story.
Exactly.
Really, in the end, they are the two main characters of this game. It was not Charlie Cox.
I loved his thing where he's like, I only worked for 4 hours on this. I feel like a fraud. It's like, dude, you worked your ass off your whole life to get those skills.
You sold Gustav in those 4 hours.
Hell yeah, man.
Absolutely needed. If that character didn't land, then a lot of the early game isn't good. So, no, hats off to everybody here. Just pretty amazing overall.
Well, and shout out to this game for expanding my linguistic ability, because my neighbor who I play Magic with used to teach French. He speaks French. And then we have another neighbor who is from Paris and speaks French. So they're speaking French. And then I was like, oh, I'm playing this French video game. And I told them a little bit about it. And I was like, I only learned one French word. And they're like, oh, what is that? And I was like, Putain. And they were like, oh my God. And I was like, I think that means fuck. They're like, yep, that means fuck. Oh my God. They just started dying laughing. Like, that's the only word you know. I was like, I know more French words, but I just thought it'd make you laugh.
But that's the one that they got taught.
Exactly. Yeah. This game, Putain for everything. Oh my gosh. So good. Yep. Well, anything else about this game?
No, it was good. I'm glad I got through that slog part and was able to finish it.
Yeah, I'm so glad that I got through it ahead of you, where I could be like, I know it sucks, man. You really got to get through it. It's worth it at the end, I promise. I think you would have got through anyways, but I don't know, maybe not, but yeah, I think you would have. Yeah,
it was very cool. Good game.
Very good. Looking forward to what's next from this studio for sure. On to briefly other things we've been playing. Have you been playing other things at all? Or you been working?
Yeah, actually I had the break. So I finished Clair Obscur and then have been playing Diablo 4's latest season.
Nice. It's the Horadrim.
They put it into the Horadrim. It's just Diablo 4. I think one of the things that is actually getting kind of... It's a little sad in the fact that their seasons really aren't all that different. It's a different coat of paint on similar mechanics each time. And I'm not sure why that is, if the tools that they have to work with just aren't great for making more variety of content, if the churn to make content is just too long. Microsoft is just fucking them in some way of like, do this with the smallest number of people possible, so they can't do a whole lot.
Well, that sounds about right, considering the last week that's been happening.
Yeah, so I feel like I'm enjoying it. It's Diablo 4. I enjoy it just fine. But there is a part of me that's like, I feel like there is more promise here than they're able to capitalize on. And I would like to see more in the future. I'll play it more, but... still feels good. Still like Diablo 4 generally from a gameplay standpoint, but
yeah, I just hit a PS5 or fucking whatever PS Plus. So I downloaded it and I also bought the Vessel of Hatred there. It was on sale. Yeah. So now I have it on like 3 devices. Is there a cross save?
Yes.
Okay, I got to figure out how to get that to work.
It's tied to your Battle.net account.
Okay. I'll need to figure out how to.
That's all. That's all it is. Yeah.
Cool. Very cool. Cool. Anything else you've been playing?
No, that's about it.
Okay. Well, for me, a couple things. Final Fantasy Magic: The Gathering has taken over my life.
Sure.
So, of course, naturally, I'm continuing to play through Final Fantasy 9. I've gotten to just past where you get Aiko.
Yeah,
a little 6-year-old fucking girl in your party who can fucking summon Fenrir and Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
So that's cool. I think that's towards the end of disc 2 is basically where I am right now.
Okay.
I don't know if you saw Square Enix put out a 3 days ago a 25th anniversary video of. So I watched that. I probably shouldn't have.
No, you shouldn't have. I thought about sending it to you, and I was like, I'm not sending this. That's some big spoilers in that video.
Yeah, luckily, I'm going to forget all of it, because the only thing that stood out to me was that she cuts her hair. And I was like, what the fuck? And then my daughter was like, oh, yeah, remember that card where she has short hair? I was like, oh, you're right. She does have short hair in that card. So I think that's probably significant somehow.
Yes, it's a very significant part of her story arc.
So I'm looking forward to that. I really like the story. Zidane and Dagger just got quote unquote married to get through to the next area.
Oh, right.
And you know, his writing is just still cringe. He needs to grow up a little more. I don't know if that's going to happen, but hopefully that's my common complaint for this. But otherwise, I really, really, really like the story in Final Fantasy 9. Like, we'll see where it goes towards the end, but like, could it be my favorite? It's on track.
It's a lot of people's favorites.
Wow. I can see why.
It's consistent. That 9, for a lot of people, 9 is their favorite. I've seen it listed there. It's really, but a lot of times it's like, what age did you start playing Final Fantasy? Really?
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
In a lot of ways. But 9 was a very good PlayStation 1 game. Yeah, really cool story. And you haven't even seen the half of it, really. You still have so much to go.
That's great. I'm looking so forward to it.